Hey, how's it going? Alex here from IdeaSpot, and in today's WooCommerce tutorial, we are going to be customizing the cart and checkout page using Elementor and completely free plugins. So if you are tired of your cart looking like this and your checkout looking like this, and you'd like to customize it and optimize it and get it looking a little bit more like this and your checkout page looking like this, then keep watching. The plugins we will need are Woocommerce Blocks by Automatic. Now, Automatic is the group that brings us WooCommerce. Now, Woocommerce Blocks is actually what they put out when they're testing new features and developing WooCommerce. So this is what gives us the upgraded cart and checkout features for WooCommerce, which we're going to use to upgrade our cart and checkout. The next one we need is Elementor header, footer, and blocks template. Now this comes with most Astra starter templates, so you should get that automatically done if you're using Astra. But if not, go ahead and grab this one as well. This is by Brainstorm Force. This is the group that brings us Astra, the Astra theme. And this will actually let us design custom headers and footers for specific pages. So we're going to be using a custom header for our cart, a custom header for our checkout. So that's completely optional, but I really like to have a separate header for our cart and checkout just to make things a little bit more distraction free. And essential add-ons for Elementor. I really love this when I'm using the free version of Elementor. I think most people who use the free version of Elementor will get a lot of value out of just adding this free plugin just to make up for some of the gaps that the free version of Elementor has. And this gives us that product grid, which I'm going to use to add some interesting things to our footer, like put some featured products or sale products into our cart at the footer. So go ahead and install and activate that one as well. Now, this one is optional, Elementor. This is what I used in my previous video to customize the shop and the product pages. So it's a really good way if you're using the free version of Elementor to add WooCommerce features. So optional, but totally recommend trying this out and at least see what you think. It's a really good way of using the free version of Elementor to design WooCommerce features. So Elementor. Now, like I mentioned before, I am using Astra and I am using a starter template. So you've got your starter templates plugin here. And for this demonstration, I'm using the Coach starter template. So this is what I've come up with. I've basically just changed the background image, added my logo, installed WooCommerce, and added the WooCommerce shop to our header menu. And I've added the cart, mini cart to our header menu as well, just by choosing WooCommerce as the last item in the menu. So all that is pretty straightforward. Let's get on with upgrading our cart. So this is our very standard WooCommerce cart. Now, this is what comes with WooCommerce. It's been like this for a long time. Now, the cart works totally fine. It isn't that good of a design by today's standards, though. Everything is a little bit too spaced out. There's 3 buttons, and the most important button, proceed to checkout, is down the bottom. So it's not that intuitive when you look at it straight away in terms of what am I supposed to do. This one's grayed out, so it's a little bit fiddly. We're going to upgrade that. Let's get started. So first of all, let's hit edit page. Now the default cart page, this is all it is. It's a title and a shortcode that says WooCommerce cart. Now all we have to do to upgrade this is go ahead, click on it, and we're going to delete that by removing the block. So we've got a blank canvas now. And we are going to go and add a new block, and we can scroll down and we've got WooCommerce. This is what Woocommerce Blocks gives us, some new blocks to add on our pages for WooCommerce. So there's lots of things here, but the most important thing for this tutorial is the cart. So where is that? The cart is right there. Go ahead. There we go. This is the new cart. Now straight away, the design is better just because it's much more compact and there's only one button, which is proceed to checkout. So that's obviously going to improve our sales. There are a couple of options that we can change on this. We can turn the shipping calculator on or off, and we can hide the shipping costs until an address is entered as well. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to turn that one on and this one on as well. The other thing we can do is have a look at what the empty cart will look like. So by default, it's got a little frowny face. Your cart is empty. You can browse the store and it's got the new in store, which will show us the new items. So we can go ahead and add and remove these things as we wish. So I might just go ahead and maybe I'll just remove that block and remove this block. And I don't really like this block either. I like to keep things fairly simple. Let's get rid of the sad face as well. I think that's kind of corny. Your cart is empty. That is all I'd like to see on my empty cart, and just a link to browse the store. Maybe rather than a link to browse the store, let's make a button that takes the user back to the store. So let's go ahead and let's pop in a new block and let's search for the button element. There we go. So let's go back to shop. There we go. Add the link back to the shop. That should be all good. There we go. We want to make that centered. So let's change the alignment to the center, and that looks pretty good. And let's click update. So full cart looks like this, empty cart looks like that. We don't need that browse store link anymore. Your cart is empty, back to the shop. Simplicity sometimes is the best, less is more. So let's actually look at this and see what it looks like in practice. So let's look at our cart. Our cart now looks like this. This is a big improvement. We've just got the one button, a much more compact layout, very much more intuitive. So if the cart was actually empty, let's remove all this stuff out from the cart and see what the empty cart looks like. So now our cart is empty. We can go back to the shop. That'll take us back to the shop. Let's go back again to the cart. So we've just got our empty cart and we've got our standard footer. I'm going to show you how we can edit that in a minute as well. Before we do that, let's just pop an item into our cart so we don't have an empty cart. There we go. Let's add to cart. There we go. We've got something in there. We can proceed to checkout. So if you're happy with that, I think this is almost all you need to do. The only thing I might like to do here is make custom headers and custom footers specific for the cart and for the checkout, just to make things a little bit even more clean, a little bit more distraction free, just to boost those conversions that little bit more. The other thing we can do is use a little bit of CSS to tweak the styling of these descriptions and buttons and things. That's totally optional, but I will go ahead and do that in a minute as well. So we are back in our dashboard. We're going to make the cart header. So I'm under appearance and we're in header and footer blocks here. So we're going to go ahead and make a new header. So this is going to be our cart header. I'm going to call it that. And it is going to be called a header. And we're going to display that header only on a specific page. So we can actually decide to only display this on a very specific page. So specific pages, and we're going to search for the cart. And there we go. We've got the cart page there. So there we go. Let's go ahead and let's publish this right now. There we go. And now we can actually edit this using the normal editor, or I'm going to edit this using the free version of Elementor, which I really quite prefer. So let's load that up and we can start designing a header. Now, rather than starting from scratch, I always like to take design that's already there and adapt it to a certain purpose. So let's go to our main page. We can actually adapt just the front page here. So let's edit that with Elementor. I'm going to copy some of the style from this page and use it in our header. So let's just copy the front element here. Let's copy that. Let's paste it in here, and let's get rid of all this stuff in here. Get rid of this, get rid of this. We want to have 2 columns, I think is fine, rather than all that. Let's just get rid of all of it. There we go. Let's get rid of the whole thing there. And now we can just add another column. We can have 2 even columns. Seems good. And let's head to our section and get to the style. We don't need this image. It's just a header. We just need a plain, nice blue gradient. I think that looks pretty nice. Now, it looks like there's obviously some padding or some margin here. So yeah, we're right. We've got padding 250 on the top and 250 on the bottom. Let's drop that back to 0. I think we don't need any padding for a header. And let's look at our layout. We want this section to be, we want it to be full width. And I want it to stretch the section as well. That looks a lot better when you're using it as a header. Now, the only thing I really want in my cart header is just a logo and the word cart. So people know that they're still on my website and that they're in the cart. That's all we need. We don't need any distractions. We don't need any menus or other things to click on. We just want them to look at the cart and then go to the checkout. So let's work on that. So I'm going to pop my logo in. That's just an image. Let's drop that there. And our image is from our media library. We've already made our logo and uploaded that. Let's insert that there. And I really want that to be left. And I want my column vertical alignment to be middle, just to be sure. It's obviously a little bit too big. So let's go to our image and edit the image. We can go to the style and we can change the width. We can change it in pixels. I think just keep it fairly small, keep it fairly distraction free. So that's our logo, 60 pixels, seems pretty okay. And then we can just bring that actual width of the margin in a bit. And we can go and put a heading in there for our cart. That's going to be our cart. And I want that to be white text. So that's all we really need. and that's our new header. We do want to have a look at this on the mobile and tablet view as well. So the tablet, that isn't great. Let's go to the advanced, and I think we've got our section and advanced. Yeah, we've got padding there for the tablet view as well, and the actual image itself needs to be improved a bit there as well. So the column width, let's bump that up to 10. I think that's okay, maybe 15, okay. And we can see the columns are breaking onto 2 rows. That is because this one is probably too big. We want the column, let's just make that one 50, and let's make this one 15. So that will be fine for tablet view. And mobile view, same deal. It's gonna have some padding that I accidentally copied from our last section from the main page, and we'll get rid of that padding. And let's just change those column widths. I'll make that 24, or make it 25. And let's make the cart column width, make that 25 as well, shall we? Yeah, maybe 35. Give us a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, let's update that. So responsive mode, desktop, tablet, and mobile. You get the idea, but this is our cart header now, so we're all good. So let's have a look and see how this goes. So here on our main page, this is our normal header, and let's go ahead and look at our cart, and this is what the header that we've just designed is. So that is much cleaner. We're just on the cart page, you're still on the IdeaSpot website, and we can proceed to the checkout. That's all you really want the user to do. So that is what I like, and I'm going to leave it like that. We could get a little bit more fancy with our footer in the cart. I might go and work on that now. So let's go back to our dashboard, and I'm back under appearance, header and footer blocks, and we've got our footer there. I might actually just duplicate that footer. So let's go EA duplicator. That'll give us a copy. So there's our draft footer. I'm going to go ahead and edit that one. I'm going to call that the cart footer now. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the footer on the cart with this footer. And again, I think I'm going to just restrict it to the cart. So specific pages, we're going to change that to the cart, and we're going to go ahead and search for the cart. There we go. We'll go ahead and publish that one. And we're going to go and edit that in Elementor. So this is our footer. We can go ahead and add some more stuff. Let's add some more cart related content to the actual cart footer. So what I might do here is let's minimize these normal Elementor elements, and we're going to look at essential add-ons. We talked about that a little bit earlier. You can also use Elementor here, but I'm going to use the product grid from essential add-ons. So let's scroll down a bit. Where is our product grid? There we go. Let's just drop a product grid in above this footer. Cool. I think what I'll do here is just drop that down to 3 products. Maybe make it 2. Let's go 3. Go 3 and 3 columns. And let's turn the ratings off. I think that's a bit tidier. So that looks pretty cool. And we can actually, instead of choosing recent products, we could choose, say, best sellers or sale products, top rated products. Anything will do. Totally up to you. It's just a nice thing to add some extra things for the user to last minute additions to the cart. So let's just leave it on recent products for now, but you can customize that. If you have featured products, for example, that would be a great way to implement this. The other thing we might do is just give an option for the user to go back to the shop if they want to go continue their shopping. So let's put back to the shop, and let's make that here. Let's say shop. So that's that little button there. Oops, I put shopper. Let's go there, and let's just put the shop link there, and let's click update. So that looks pretty cool. I think that's a little bit too big, actually, the font. Let's make that, let's make it a normal paragraph. Ooh, that's small. Okay, let's go H4. That's pretty cool. You know what? I changed my mind. Rather than having that there at all, let's delete that, and let's actually just call this back to the shop. I think that's better. Back to the shop. There we go. Update. This is sometimes less is more, like I always say. Awesome. Now let's have a look at see what this looks like on the actual cart. So again, let's go back to our cart. And there we go. There's our new little WooCommerce additional info. And we've got a button that takes us back to the shop. But we've got our proceed to checkout there right up the top. And easy to find, easy to continue. This is totally up to you. You don't have to put this in here. If you really just want to keep the focus on proceeding to the checkout, you could get rid of that altogether. Just leave it as a blank blue thing. Maybe just have a basic footer and just keep the focus on that checkout button for the user. So why don't we head to the checkout and give the checkout the same treatment that we gave to the cart. So this is the old school WooCommerce checkout, and it looks like a lot of work. I think this definitely does cost you a few sales here and there because it just looks like a lot of work and you've got to fill in all this stuff and then proceed to the payment. I think we can do a lot better. Let's go ahead and edit the page. Again, we want to just delete the standard WooCommerce checkout and we're going to add this new WooCommerce Blocks checkout. So we should have that down here somewhere. There we go, checkout. Cool. So here we have our new and improved checkout. We have a few little options that we can add here. We can turn the company on and off, apartment, suite, etc. I think some countries use that a lot more often than other countries. So if you want that on, turn it on. If not, turn it off. In Australia, we usually just use one line addresses. It's much more common. So I'm going to turn that off in my case, but totally up to you. Phone number on or off. I think you can make it mandatory as well, which can be pretty good depending on what sort of industry you're working in. That can be good. I'm going to leave it optional, but I'll leave the phone on there. Show links to policies and show return to cart link. So that's the return to the cart link. That's your privacy policy. You can turn those policies on or off like that. So totally up to you. Let's click update. And let's have a look at the document options here. I will like to disable the title and disable the footer bar as well. I really just want to keep the focus on people proceeding to the payment when they're in the checkout. If you've done all this work getting the users to go into the checkout, just keep them focused on getting that payment and getting our sales made. So I'd recommend setting it up like that and clicking update. So this is our checkout now. I'd have to say it definitely is a big improvement. It just looks like less work for the user. It just seems quicker to fill this in and proceed. I really quite like it. If you want to go back to your cart, you can go back to your cart, but that's not a prominent button. The most prominent button is right there in the middle where you proceed to your payment. I've only got PayPal set up, but whatever payment methods you've got will show up there. The only thing I will do here is like what we've done with our cart. We've got a custom cart. I might make a custom checkout header for this page as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So the easiest way to do that is we've already done the cart header. I basically want the same thing. I've got essential add-ons for Elementor and you've got this EA duplicator. We can go ahead and just duplicate the cart header there. And then we go ahead and edit this one. Instead of calling it the cart header, guess what we call it now? The checkout header. All right, and get rid of that cart there, and we want to apply it to the checkout. There we go. Let's go ahead and publish that one. And I think we're pretty good. The only thing we need to do here is edit that with Elementor, and we need to change one word. Cart becomes checkout. That's not even a whole word. We just need to change the characters after the C. Awesome. Hit update, and there we go. Our beautiful, clean, sales optimized checkout. So cool. This is it's a much more sensible and friendly flow for the user to flow through the shop, through the cart to the checkout. I think this is a big improvement on the standard WooCommerce page. Give us a like if you think this is going to help your store because it's definitely helped the stores I've been building lately. Now, I did mention earlier I wanted to apply a little bit of CSS. It's going to depend on the starter template you're using, but I really want this description text to be larger. I want this proceed to checkout button to match the buttons on my other parts of the website, like that nice blue color. And I'd like it to be, I don't need it that bold. I'd like it to be the same weight as the other font. And I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and add some CSS to this. So let's go to customize, open that in a new tab. And additional CSS. And this is some CSS I prepared earlier. So I've just made that text a little bit bigger there and made this button a blue button. I think that's about it. Same thing in the checkout. When we go to our checkout, we can see that our instructions are a little bit bigger as well. And we've got our blue button there as well. So a little bit cleaner, a little bit more consistent. So that's all I needed to do. You can go ahead and change that background color to suit your button and change the font weight if you don't want the bold font. I've just got normal font weight and I've made those metadata in the description there. I've made that just normal one line font. So just a little bit of a tweak. You can change that or just leave it as stock. I think even the stock standard didn't look too bad anyway. So I think that's a little bit of an improvement, but totally up to you. I will share that in the description, so check that out if you're interested. Okay, now that we've finished customizing the cart and the checkout, you should check out my previous video on customizing the shop and product pages. So I've put a link here if you haven't seen that video already. And also check out my videos on customizing the login pages, because that can really improve things too. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.